Just so I know, are there any deputations for the items coming today? No, just people coming to listen. That's great. And we are on to application 1B 1126, new lot Veal, and the page numbers are pages 3 and on. Carrie, would you like to speak to it?
Okay, thank you. So an application was received from James Veal for the property located along River Road. The application is proposing the creation of one new lot being 8.09 hectares in area, leaving a retained lot of 12.67 hectares. Subject property is designated as natural resources and rural in the official plan and zone general agricultural and rural in our zoning bylaw. The proposed new lot is entirely within the general agriculture zone, while the retained lands are entirely within the rural zone. The subject property is abutted by additional general agriculture to the east, rural to the south and west, and the Cam River to the north. The proposed new lot will meet all area and frontage requirements of the general agricultural zone in our zoning bylaw. An entrance permit is required from the municipality if one does not already exist. The proposed new lot is the exact lot addition that was approved by the committee in 2024. The same survey is now being followed to create the new lot. As such, this will be the final severance of the original parcel under the current official plan. We did not receive any interdepartmental comments. We received agency comments from the Lakehead Region Conservation Authority as well as Red Sky Métis Independent Nation, both stating no concerns. And council passed a resolution at their meeting Tuesday evening, also stating no concerns. So it would be my recommendation that the application be approved with our usual conditions.
Thank you. Because it's such an odd shape.
That belongs to the municipality. It forms part of the road because of the site triangle for that corner.
Thank you. That makes sense. Yeah. Anything further? We've got some.
Hi, James. Since you're on the line, I just wanted to let you know that following the meeting, you will receive your notice of decision within the next 15 days. It'll list all your conditions for you, and you have 2 years to meet those conditions. And then if you have any questions, you can let me know.
Can't hear you, James. James, I think your mic is off. There we go.
There we go. No, it fell off the first one. So you'll just have the list of conditions, and what would the conditions be? Parkland and whatnot?
Your survey, Parkland, Thunder Bay District Health Unit approval for septic, and then the lawyer documents for the transfer.
Okay, perfect. Alrighty. Thank you so much.
All right, then with that, we've been given notice that the Reap Dyke and LePage ones have been postponed, deferred to the next meeting. So we are on to the Miller lot, which is on page 45.
Thank you. I just realized that the report says application for consent. I apologize. It's minor variance. So we've received an application from Brody Miller and Tracy Miller acting on behalf of Miller Precast for a minor variance on the property known as 58 Cooper Road. The applicant is requesting relief from zoning bylaw table 11.3.1, being regulations in the heavy industrial zone where the minimum side and rear yard setbacks for an accessory building are 15 meters or 50 feet, and the applicant is requesting a side yard of 25 feet 6 inches and a rear yard of 2 feet 10 inches. The applicant wishes to construct a 26,000 square foot building to accommodate the growing workload and allow the business to operate year round. The zoning bylaw currently has setbacks that are nearly impossible to meet in this area as a whole, where the properties are smaller in size. In 2019, a similar minor variance was approved for 48 Cooper Road, where the setbacks were reduced to 2.2 meters to accommodate the construction of a building addition. The subject property, again, is located on Cooper Road and is abutted by heavy industrial lots and uses in all directions aside from the west, which is institutional with the church and school. So the property is designated as industrial in the official plan and zoned heavy industrial in our zoning bylaw. The provincial planning statement requires that all decisions are consistent with the PPS. Section 2.8.1 says supporting a modern economy where planning authorities shall promote economic development and competitiveness. And then industrial manufacturing and small scale warehouse uses that could be located adjacent to sensitive land uses without adverse effects are encouraged in strategic growth areas and other mixed use areas. We did not receive any interdepartmental comments. Agency comments were received from Lakehead Region Conservation Authority as well as Red Sky Métis Independent Nation, both of which stated no concerns. We did receive one letter of support from the public, being the abutting neighbor, abutting this property both to the south and the west, being Buchanan Realty Inc. The letter states that they understand the proposal and that they are in full support of the project as it's proposed. So the Planning Act sets out 4 tests to determine if something is considered a minor variance. The first is the development desirable for the appropriate development or use of the land, building, or structure? So this proposal is for lands within a heavy industrial area where the abutting neighbors are Buchanan Realty Inc., who have provided confirmation they have no concerns, as well as Miller Precast. The proposed building will also clean up the backyard of this property, enclosing much of what is considered currently visible on the site. As such, it is considered desirable and appropriate for the area. The next question is the general intent and purpose of the zoning bylaw maintained? The general intent of our zoning bylaw is maintained, as this is still a heavy industrial use within a heavy industrial area. Third question is the general intent and purpose of the official plan maintained? Our official plan states that the industrial designation and the policies are intended to promote development through the expansion of the existing industrial base and stimulation of new industrial and environmental growth opportunities to provide for a strong and stable economy for the community. The final question is the variance minor? So if you're looking at the numbers, it doesn't appear to be minor in nature. However, if you look at the big picture, it is minor in nature, as there's no impact to any other property owners in the area. It does not encroach towards the institutional area, and the only other neighbor that may notice the reduced setbacks is in full support of the proposed variance. So in these ways, we've determined that the variance is considered to be minor. Minor variances do not really have conditions of approval, so the recommendation is based solely on the condition that the construction does not encroach further into the setbacks than what is currently proposed.
Thank you, Carrie. Are there any questions regarding this? Go ahead. Do you want to put your mic on?
Okay, just a couple of questions. It seems to me that enclosing this is good thing for noise and tidiness, etc. There was no comment on noise. Will that be buffering?
It's a heavy industrial area.
Yeah, but like there is residential to the southeast of it. So I'm assuming that it's a good thing, right? Is that?
Yes, just take a seat. Just take a seat and turn the mic on and introduce yourself before you start sharing.
I'm Brody Miller of Miller Precast, and yeah, to answer your question, it will reduce noise.
because the noise will be within,
Correct. So it is currently operating as a hollow core facility already. It's just outside. So enclosing it will actually probably greatly reduce the noise.
okay. And you said that the only comment you received was from the one industrial property. Did the circulation include any of the residential properties, like the
Only a 60-meter setback.
60 meters? Okay. Okay, I just was just making sure that it wouldn't create more noise.
Any further questions or comments? Thank you, Brody.
Thank you.
Okay, with that, I'll potentially seek a motion that application 1B1326 Miller for minor variance on the property legally described as concession 2 north of the railway, part lot 7, RP 55R 8492, part 3, PCL 25173, known locally as 58 Cooper Road, in the municipality of Oliver Papoons, geographic district of Thunder Bay, be approved with conditions. Sarah and Arnold. Anything further? All those in favor? Thank you, that carries. All right, and the second one is also, it is also from Miller, and I believe I just had the page. Anybody knows the page number?
2 of
Actually, it's
4.
separate. Yeah. Yeah, it's separate, thank you.
Yes, it is. Sorry, this was a last minute.
No,
check.
that's all right.
Okay. Okay, so this is a cancellation certificate. It's our first one. The legislation was passed back in 2022 from the provincial government stating that we could now undo consents, but there was never a method on how to do that. So to date, I believe only one other one has happened, which was done completely through the legal process. It did not involve us. But here we are. We've now created an application. The fee has been set to $500. These applications require 0 notice. There are no appeal rights. It's just the fact that the committee has to approve undoing a consent. So the land existed as a whole, was subdivided, became 2. In this case, the applicant is asking that those lands merge back together. As you see from the minor variance that we just did, that line that goes through the property would be removed, which is good. It's beneficial in that the buildings already encroach on it, plus the new proposed building is going to cross that line. If you took a look at the report that I provided, the only person that would be affected by this is the actual applicant. This consent itself was a benefit to the applicant, so undoing it just makes a larger lot. The original consent in this case was done back in 1991, 1992. So we're seeking approval for me to be able to provide a certificate of cancellation, of which I have a draft of. So the list of recommendations are attached. It basically just says that the committee receives the planning report this evening, that the committee approved the application to cancel consent 1D0126, that the committee of adjustment deem that the land that is the subject of the consent cancellation certificate is not land that was previously conveyed by way of deed or transfer with a consent, that the committee of adjustment deem that subsection 5312 of the Planning Act does not apply to these lands any further, that the cancellation of this application be subject to the following condition, that submission to the Secretary Treasurer, that written confirmation that the parcels have become one once again is confirmed. And the final one is that the Secretary Treasurer is hereby authorized and directed to execute the certificate of cancellation.
Questions or comments from the committee?
I have one.
Go ahead, Sarah.
Is this now gonna be, Carrie, you mentioned something about in the last couple of years, is it mandatory now to do this for all ones where people have buildings built across?
No, this is applicant only. So an applicant who comes to us to undo a previous consent would go through this process now. But if there's a building, I mean, that provides a method for them to correct any encroachment onto a property line. if it was created by consent originally, but not necessarily. It's,
But he wouldn't have to do this.
nope, it's
Just
entirely
choosing.
applicant driven.
Okay,
In this case, he has to because he's proposing a new building and we can't offer a building permit on lands or on a building that goes across a property line. Whatever was already outstanding, it happened and it's still
Grandfathered in.
non-conforming, yeah.
okay, okay.
Otherwise, though, if I recall, properties that have the same names on them tend to merge.
Not
They
in land
don't
titles.
merge if it was,
On the land.
if it was created by consent, once a consent, always a consent.
Okay.
Yeah, except now we can cancel them.
They can't merge, they. In the land title system, they don't merge.
Okay.
They have two separate PIN numbers. Which is how land's conveyed. So they don't, which leads to my question here. So we have, I can see the lot. That would be part 3 and part 2 on this survey, correct? So part 2 and part 3 both have their own PIN.
Mhm.
So when we cancel this certificate, this consent certificate, it will receive a new PIN?
Yes,
The land registry office will give it a new PIN.
that's
It
right.
doesn't give it the old one that it had before? Okay,
Not that I'm aware of. I
I
don't.
don't think it's possible, but I just,
Yeah,
this
it
is
would,
the new
it would
process
be a
for me.
new, yeah, it's a new process for all of us. It would be amalgamated into one property, so that legally, I believe that gets a new PIN.
Okay,
Thank you. Any further comments or questions? All right, hearing none, gonna hear an earful. Whole lot of numbers.
That's a big
Yes, that's why I'm chair and nobody else wanted to be. All right, seeking a motion that, number 1, the Committee of Adjustment receive the planning report dated June 11th, 2026, respecting an application for cancellation of consent for the property directly north of the municipality addressed 58 Cooper Road, legally known as PCL 24822, section TBF SRO, south of the railroad. Part lot 7, concession 2, north of the Cam River, Papoonge, part 2, 55R, 8492, Oliver Papoonge. Number 2, that the Committee of Adjustment approve the application to cancel consent 1D-01-26 in accordance with subsection 5345 of the Planning Act, RSO 1990. Number 3, that the Committee of Adjustment deem that the land that is the subject of the consent cancellation certificate is not land that was previously conveyed by way of a deed or transfer with a consent. And number 4, that the Committee of Adjustment deem that subsection 5312 of the Planning Act, RSO 1990, does not apply in respect to PCL 24822, section TBF, south of the railroad, part lot 7, concession 2, north of the Cam River, Papoonge, part lot 2, 55R, 8492, Oliver Papoonge, and that section 53 applies to a subsequent conveyance of other transaction involving PCL 24822, section TBF, south of the railway, part lot 7, concession 2, north of Cam River, Papoonge, part 2, 55R, 8492, Oliver Papoonge. And number 5, that the cancellation of consent 1D-01-26 be subject to the following condition: a submission to the Secretary Treasurer written confirmation that PCL 24822, section TBF, south of the railway, part lot 7, concession 2, north of the Cam River, Papoonge, part 2, 55R, 8492, Oliver Papoonge, and PCL 25173, section TBF, part lot 7, concession 2, north of the Cam River, Papoonge, part 3, 55R, 8492, Oliver Papoonge, are in common ownership. I know.
I think there's even one more. But there's no legal descriptions.
The Secretary Treasurer is hereby authorized and directed to execute a certificate of cancellation, period. Somebody move that. Arnold, way up here, seconder. Thank you, Sarah. Any further comments? Thank you. All in favor? Thank you. That carries. Very good. Thank you for laughing along. All right, the following that, we have the minutes of the previous meeting, which is on page 61, I believe. Nope, 59,
59.
yes. Are there any errors or omissions from the minutes? Yes, Catherine.
On several occasions when we've been voting, I have asked that my vote be recorded as abstained. But we don't do that. We write who moves, who seconds, and then we just say carried.
The municipal act doesn't allow us to put that you abstained. Abstained, the municipal act means no. And you haven't asked for a recorded vote, you've just abstained.
Explain, ask for a recorded vote.
You would physically say ask for a recorded vote, and the
Yeah.
chair would have to go through the board and ask.
Write it down.
individually.
Yeah, then you have to ask individually and they recorded each person's vote beside their name.
Okay, so I have to ask. But it's in the minutes, it's recorded in the notes from the meeting though, right? Like,
That you abstained?
yeah.
No. Only if you ask for a
For-
recorded vote.
How come you never mentioned that before?
No, you'd be recorded as voting no.
If you do a recorded vote.
If she does a recorded vote,
Yeah.
otherwise it's a no and we don't record that.
We just, want it on record if it comes back and requires correction or think we get files that come that way that have had to come back. I don't know, I just feel that it's important to know that I didn't say no and I didn't say yes, so, okay.
Can that be something retrospectively fixed for her?
The abstaining means no. That's what the but
Recorded vote.
no,
No, it's too
Oh.
late to ask for that and it, yeah.
How long does the video stay online?
2 years.
So if people wish to, they could look it up,
Yeah,
the meeting.
yeah, but we've corrected some files that have been years old or whatever, when they come back and. Yeah, I just was wondering what the process was on that, so thanks.
Welcome. All right, with that, I'm seeking a motion, I believe, still for the minutes of April 9th. Arnold? Sandy? All right. All those in favor? Thank you. That carries. And with that, I think we are seeking a motion to adjourn.
So,
Oh, yes.
can you help me understand conflict of interest?
Yeah, conflict of interest means you or someone in your immediate family receives financial gain from what, potentially receives financial gain from what activity you're going to vote on.
Only related to financial gain, and it's only immediate family.
You and immediate family, yes, that's how I understand it. Yeah,
Are you sticking with the word financial?
It is, that's how it's written.
So when I abstained, like. Something came upon that I previously expressed publicly before I went to COA. I excused myself because I felt like that was a conflict of interest because I had a prior.
disclosures at the beginning of the meeting, that's where you say, I have a conflict of interest. When I ask for,
But I think what you're saying to me is that wasn't a conflict of interest.
only if it's financial, that's correct.
It was how you felt morally, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I just feel like we should be ethical in how we do things, and if there's like, I wanna make sure I'm doing it correctly. And I felt like I was on record publicly prior to this, making a comment or had a concern about something, so when that came back through, I removed myself, the same way I removed myself if it was like.
Yeah.
My husband, my
Yeah.
in-laws, my brother-in-law, my sister-in-law, so I just wanted to clarify.
That's a personal choice, that one. Whereas if it's financial, that's the way that we require it through our policies of the municipality.
Because if you Google conflict of interest on any site, it actually never uses the word financial.
Right, but we do it through, the municipality has its own policies.
But a conflict of interest is because you work for the competing company or something. And it
That's correct.
Doesn't pass the sniff test, but I'm not gonna make money if it's Enbridge versus.
No, but you might receive work because your company, the company you work for gets work there, right?
Yeah, but that doesn't change my financial.
No, but it could
And
be
then
argued, right?
self-dealing, if you're in, if you know, you're
Yeah.
involved, a shareholder or something like
Yeah.
that. If there, you know, there's a dual representation, you might be involved on both sides. There's a lot of reasons for conflict of interest besides.
Yeah, perhaps it's best if we ask Carrie if she would share the definition per the townships.
Okay, I don't have it.
I, no, that wasn't what I meant. I knew that. I knew
You
that, but
email that.
I know I had, and I felt like everyone was like understanding of me putting myself in that part because. From like we hold partial, I mean, to me, it's the equivalent of a public office, we have the. Support of the public to do our job ethically and fairly. So I feel like it extends to that, like any potential for propriety or impropriety, I think is important for us to consider.
on the other hand, just having chaired lots of meetings, I think it is, if you have a passionate position about something, you shouldn't, perhaps, if it's not a financial gain, then you probably should be part of the conversation. You have details and knowledge that would assist us. Just something to think about, but we'll get clarification. Then I'm not just saying because I think it, then we know. Very good. I don't think I have a mover and a seconder yet. Thank you, Arnold. For the minutes, seconder. Are you pointing or you put your hand up? All right, all in favor? We are adjourning, sorry, and we are adjourning at 5:30. Thank you, everybody.